I think MMA gear is garbage. Hey guys, Coach Victor here at the Thai Boxing Institute of Mar Vista, California, and in this video we're going to cover what I think are some of the better shin pads out on the market. There's going to be a very a common theme to all the equipment that I use is that it's either specifically made for Muay Thai or for boxing, right? So before we begin, I think MMA gear is garbage, right? You're paying for a premium for some equipment that has a lot of bells and whistles that you won't necessarily need to use. A good example are like Hayabusa gloves with the millions of straps on them. You just need one belt to strap. The argument to that too is that when we buy and invest in equipment, we're buying from the authorities of the sport that we're training in, right? This might be different if I did MMA. Like even when I did MMA, I was using striking brands such as any of the Muay Thai brands or any of the boxing brands, right? So if you notice, it's mostly Thai brands, right? If you haven't so yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to be notified when we have new videos uploaded to the channel. That'd be awesome of you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. All right, so without further ado, allow me to begin at the beginning. All right, so let's rewind to 16 years ago when I first started Muay Thai. At my Muay Thai gym, Muay Thai Academy of North Hollywood, we would just have a bunch of loaner equipment, and that's obviously what I use because when you're 18 and just recently out of high school, you really don't have enough money to invest, right? And that's going to be an important word, is invest. When I had the money to invest in proper equipment, my first pair of shin pads were these Fairtex shin pads. Not these per se, this exact pair from like 16 years ago. Those are long gone. But I have not deviated from this style of shin pad. Fairtex has been making this pad, man, since I first started training, right? And they still make it. You can find these on Amazon. That's kind of what I tell people to go buy the equipment from. It's just too easy, right? Let's check it out. Okay, so what I like about these is that they're hard, they're firm, right? So if you're injured or you sort of your shins aren't conditioned yet, these offer great protection. Ever since I started using these 16 years ago, the design of these hasn't changed, and these are also great because I'm a smaller person, right? I am 5'7" 3/4", about 145 pounds, and these fit me really well, and they're not too bulky or cumbersome. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's like a sleekness to my equipment. So these are great. Now, the one thing I don't like about these is that they have the metal buckles right here, right? So sometimes if you're sparring with someone that has these on, sometimes you'll accidentally kick this and it can be a bit painful. Furthermore, there are sort of tournaments that allow you to bring your own equipment, and sometimes the rules stipulate that the equipment should not have any metal pieces to them, right? So these will probably not be able to be used in those sort of tournaments. But for training purposes, these are great. And as I mentioned earlier, you can get these on Amazon. I don't know, maybe $80. An investment, but these will last you for a really long time. Just make sure you take care of them. You wipe them down because the back of it is a material that will absorb sweat and will smell, right? Ugh. I have since moved on from that style of shin pad to this style of shin pad made by twins. For those of you that don't know me personally, and for those of you that know me personally, right, I might have mentioned once or twice that I went to go train in Thailand at Sitchafo. If you're looking to train somewhere, guys, Sitchafo and Hua Hin, I highly recommend it. It was there that I was introduced to this style of shin pad. Damn, that's good Velcro. These are twins shin pads made in Thailand, genuine leather, right? These are a bit thinner, right? So if you're not as if your shins aren't as conditioned, or if you haven't been doing this for a while, these will be a little bit painful to use, right? But eventually you'll get over it, guys. Come on. These are great. These are really light. These are lighter compared to the Fairtex style shin pads, right? Similar, but the padding is thinner, right? So they're not as heavy when you're using them, when you're walking around. There's a big difference between using these two. No metal parts, right? I mean, the buckle here is made of metal, but at least it's covered with leather. I really like these just because they're light. And I like to feel a little bit of that shin-on-shin contact when using these. It makes me remember that I'm alive. But sturdy. They smell great. They'll probably start stinking later down the line. But that's with any sort of equipment. Just make sure you guys take care of it. Now, my complaint about this and with twins in general is that it's really hard to get. I usually buy all my twins equipment from Muay Thai Factory, and until recently, right? What's today? April 25th or something? April 25th of 2021, they've stopped carrying twins, right? So I don't know if someone could kind of give me a referral to Twin Special. I would love that. I think they make some of the best Muay Thai gear out in the market. These shin pads are great. Here are some other twins shin pads. I think you can get these on Amazon, to be honest. But these are wider, heavier. I think these are better for bigger people. I personally wouldn't use this style of shin pad just because they're so cumbersome. I like something that is sleek and tight to my body and not so flared out. Pretty firm, right? But yet again, like with all the other equipment, the backing is made of a material that's not gonna wick the sweat really well, and eventually these will smell. What's pretty unique about these is that there's no metal parts to them. If you notice the strap, right? It's just Velcro over and over. Twins makes really good equipment. Their Velcro lasts for a while, and the craftsmanship is great. I've never seen a pair of these ever like sort of rip or tear apart. But if you're a bigger person, maybe this style of shin pad is better. I mentioned earlier, right, I started off with cloth shin pads. Now, I personally think there's nothing wrong with it. The learning curve on using cloth shin pads is really high, right? The other more professional style Muay Thai shin pads can cost a bit of money. The cloth ones are pretty affordable. I think these are like $20 or something. And you don't even have to get this brand Meister. You can get whatever generic martial arts brand that's available out on the internet. I don't know. I don't even have any recommendations. They're all pretty much the same, white or black cloth shin pads. What I like about those is that those are good for conditioning your shins, right? So whether you're sparring with someone with thick shin pads, someone with cloth shin pads, or someone with no shin pads, you're gonna feel that on the shin. And that's an important detail that you wanna consider when practicing the sport, because hopefully, eventually, the goal is to compete, and there'll be times when you compete without shin pads. On that topic of competing, a lot of times, the competitions as an amateur, even as a pro, will require you to have cloth shin pads, right? IFMA, for example, amateurs and pros, they compete with cloth shin pads. So if there's ever a time when you're competing, I think it's important to sort of replicate the environment as close as possible, and these will enable you to do so, right? Just be careful with injury, because as I mentioned earlier, the padding to these is very minimal. So just a heads up. These are great. These are also great if you are injured, right? And Coach Vic, what do you mean by that? Blah 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 blah. When I'm injured, right, on the rare occasion that happens, I will use a cloth shin pad, right, and then I will put another shin pad over it. So, I mean, this might even just be dumb, but I'll work through the injury. And I've done this for so long, and I know my body really well that sometimes I'll get a lump on my shin, right, a hematoma or whatever, and I won't let that sort of take me away from wanting to spar or drill. So these are just sort of like the things that I will use to exercise caution to keep myself from getting further injured or from just kind of feeling the pain of that lump. But you can always do that as well. Double up. The last style of shin pads are these. These are a generic Contender Fight Sport. I don't know who makes these. It might be Ringside or Title. I'm not too sure. But other brands make these as well. I've seen even Fairtex make this stylish shin pad, right? It's like a sock. This I think might be neoprene. These are the stylish shin pads I would recommend you not get, right? First of all, right, this material here, right, neoprene, I think that's what it's called, does not wick moisture well. And in fact, it absorbs sweat really well. So what's going to happen is that you're going to slide these on when you're dry and getting ready to spar, and then you're going to have a really hard time taking these off afterwards. Furthermore, they're going to fucking stink right away. I've seen people have these for like a month or two, and damn, what's that smell, Tyler? Like, can you fucking clean your equipment, please? You know, I don't get it. Yeah, I can't even hide the disdain I have for this stylish shin pad. So, if there's any advice I recommend you not purchasing, are these shin pads, right? Alrighty, y'all, and that is that. As I mentioned earlier, if you would like to support the gym, support the channel, support us here at the Thai Box Institute, there's a few things you can do. You can hit that subscribe button, all right, hit that bell, hit that like button, leave a comment. I read it all, guys. I respond to them all. If you have any questions, please type them down below. If you would like to help us further, you can go ahead and hit us up on Instagram at the Thai Boxing Institute. If you want to support the gym, you want to support me, Coach Vic, and what we do here at the Thai Boxing Institute, we have merch available, tbimerch.com. If you want to get in touch with me further, I offer some services on our Patreon, patreon.com/Thai Boxing Institute. If you need help with your gym, if you need help with developing your coaching career, personal training, whatever it may be, you can hit me up there. And on that note, guys, thank you to all our Patreon subscribers for supporting us here at the Thai Box Institute, supporting me, Coach Vic, and everything that we do here. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, take care. See ya.